And the Ferrari flags, the prancing horse, fluttering there at Suzuka in Japan, where the rain really stayed away for the most part. A bit of drizzle around, and Michael Schumacher recovering after that poor start. And on the back of the second pit stop, Schumacher coming through to win in Japan and win the World Championship as well. Very shortly we're going to be hearing from the top three in the press conference. He did recover pretty well, didn't he? Because after that start, Tony, we feared the worst perhaps for him again.
Yeah, but you know, it was a difference between the two drivers of who wanted it so badly. Michael Schumacher wanted it badly, and we've seen in Indianapolis, and we've seen...
That one.
Well, there we are then, very gracious Mika Häkkinen. We'll be right back, Tony and I, to pinpoint the main moments of the Japanese Grand Prix in which Michael Schumacher became world champion. OK then, Tony, let's wind back to the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. We pointed out before the problems that Schumacher has with that downhill start at Suzuka. He veered across, didn't he? But Häkkinen went by him.
I know, but we say, you know, how does he put it behind him that he's got to this last hurdle so many times before? And here it is again, a bad start from Michael Schumacher. An incredibly brilliant start from Mika Häkkinen there. But instead of a zigzag, it was just a zag from Michael Schumacher going across one time. And if you look at it again, look, he goes straight across there and puts the squeeze immediately on Mika Häkkinen. He tries it on, prepared to take a risk, even in this, you know, championship showdown as far as he was concerned, trying to get this race wrapped up.
They had a continual sort of dice, didn't they, the big two, and then Zonta and Schumacher had a very close thing. In fact, they probably almost touched.
Well, Ferrari wear their hearts on their sleeves, you know, but the hearts were in their mouths. Must have been with this shades of Austria. It was Zonta who went into Michael Schumacher in Austria and took him out there, and just fractions between the two tyres there, and the Ferrari guys must have really got very, very worried about that. But again, taking those risks, and of course the damp track as well, playing into Schumacher's hands.
There was so much tension, wasn't there, around the pit stops, but it all revolved around the second pit stop, and another scare for Schumacher going into that.
Yeah, very, very critical, and there was traffic going in there. Already Häkkinen had got past Zonta, going around there, and there was Wirtz spun in the path there, coming out of the triangle, out of the hairpin. You can imagine that sight, car broadside right in front of you. Now, the Ferrari guys have been practicing their pit stops. They're brilliant at this. They put in a stop. Really, really good. But, of course, they put that extra bit of fuel in at the first stop, and that had given them the opportunity to stay out those couple of extra laps. And Michael talked about it in the press conference, that, of course, he'd had to negotiate those two Jaguars. He thought it hadn't been enough, but there it was. That crucial second stop comes out ahead, and he'd made up something like about 5 seconds over those extra laps when he'd been out, plus that in the pit stop. Brilliant tactics. Ross Brawn we can't say enough about. As Johnny Herbert said, that man is a major contributory factor to this title for Ferrari. No tears from Michael Schumacher, finally from you, Tony, this time, but it meant a huge amount to him, didn't it? You could see that. Yeah, you could. I mean, he said, you know, you might have to wait another 10 years before you blood, but you saw him crying there in Parc Ferme. I'm sure he burst into tears into his helmet as he crossed line, because you saw him beating his fist. And that's it. Everything for him and Ferrari. This is a fabulous moment for motorsport. Great day for them. Tony, Charlie, thank you very much indeed. We have a rerun of the Japanese Grand Prix a little bit later on, 1:55 this afternoon. More reaction in our highlights programme at 11:40, and that highlight show repeated as always, ITV2 tomorrow night at 7. Couple of weeks all over in Malaysia. You can see qualifying 11:45 on the Saturday, the race live at 7:45 Sunday morning, rerun at 2:10, and highlights at 11:50. What a weekend for German sport then. Triumphs at Wembley and at Suzuka. We salute Michael Schumacher, champion of the world for a third time. Bye-bye to you all.
Yeah.